All right, so today we're taking a look at the Firefield Impact XLT. It's a model FF26025. This is a budget-friendly red dot sight. It's great for beginners, just getting into optics, or even the experienced shooters who want a simple, no hassles backup sight. I've had it out on the range, ran through some accuracy testing, and today I'm going to walk you through it as what I had to do and what it does well, and a few things to keep in mind when you're considering one of these. First things first, this is a reflex sight, which means it does not magnify your view. You're seeing it one times, basically what you see with your own eyes. It's made for quick target acquisitions, especially at closer distances like 25 yards to 100 yards. It's built out of cast aluminum and polymer, which is a fancy way of saying that it's pretty tough without being super heavy. It's got a slightly larger footprint than a micro red dot, but it still weighs under 8 ounces, so it won't weigh your rifle down. Now, mounting it to a Picatinny rail, you'll see a QD lever. One thing I really like about this model, it does come with a quick detach mount. What I mean by the quick detach, QD, you'll hear some people say that. That means you can pop it on and off your rifle without needing tools. And the cool part about that, it holds zero pretty well even after you take it off and put it back on. So I've done that multiple times already. So basically, whenever you do that, you have a screw on the side of it. You get it sort of hand tightish to the side of the rail, and then you smash it in, like you just push it straight into the side of it. This is powered by a single CR2032 battery, which means it's easy to find and install. And depending on how bright you run that reticle, you can get anywhere from 40 to 250 hours of battery life. So if you're not leaving it on 24/7, it'll last you quite a while. Turning it on and adjusting the brightness is super simple. It's a digital side switch with 5 brightness levels, so you can dial it in wherever you're shooting in bright daylight or indoors. Me, I would prefer to keeping it in that middle range. You also get a couple of reticles on there. I think it's like 3 or 4. You actually get like 4 reticle styles, and it's built into the sight all in one by a single dial switch at the back. You have a single dot, a dot with a big circle around it, a dot with crosshairs, and a combination of a dot, circle, and a crosshair all together. This is perfect if you're not sure about what kind of reticle you want yet. You can just cycle through them and see what feels most natural to you and your aiming. Now, I did shoot this optic out to 25, 50, and 100 yards. And being a red dot, it had decent accuracy to it. I did sneak in a few rounds at 200 yards with a 7.62. I did it a few times off of a 22 as well. I haven't put it on any other heavier calibers besides the 7.62 by 39. And you guys know that does have some kick to it. As far as how much you can see through it, the lens is a decent size. It is a 33mm wide, and you get a clear field of view. At 25 yards, target pickup is super fast. At 50 yards, it's still very usable. And at 100 to 200, the dot does stay visible and it doesn't feel cramped all up. You'll notice on the front of the lens, it is a slight blue-green tint on the front of the lens, and that's totally normal. It helps reduce the glare and keeps the image a little sharper in bright light. It doesn't mess with your visibility much, and in actual shooting, you barely notice it. So it is decently fast. Now, to the side of it, when you're standing to the side, it does throw off like an orange tint. So it has like a different, it's like a chameleon color change on it. So just be mindful of that. It is that blue-green in the front, but when you turn to the side, it has that casting shadows like effect where the color changes on it. When you're adjusting the windage and the elevation, your clicks are heard and they are seen. So when dialing in your shots, the windage and elevation adjustments, they are knobs, so you will have to use a Allen key, and they do provide that in the package. Now, each click moves your point of impact by 1 MOA, which that basically means 1 inch at 100 yards. So you got about 120 MOA of adjustments in each direction. So that gives you a wide range to work with when you're zeroing in, depending on what ammo you have and switching back and forth on platforms, whether that be a pistol that has a rail, a 22, an AR, a big frame AR, a shotgun, or depending on some hunting rifles and what applications that you want to put it through. Now, even though this is marketed as a budget red dot, it is built to take some abuse. It says it has a shockproof up to 800 Gs, which is about 2,000 pounds of recoil force that can handle up to 308 just fine with no problem. It's also rated to IP55 water resistance, so it'll survive some rain, dust, and light mud and stuff like that. You just can't take it scuba diving, you're gonna drown it. Now, back to that shockproof. I did drop it a couple of times. I think I dropped it like 3 to 5 times, I believe, and it was on top of my Bear Creek Arsenal, but you know that thing is just a heavy beast. It is let's just say they didn't cut any corners on the material made for it, and it is very hefty. I dropped it 3 times. It shifted 0, maybe like 10 inches to the right, and then I dropped it, I think it was another 2 times when my camera cut off, and it dropped down. Instead of going to the right some more, it dropped down. So I was figuring that even though the clicks were positive, it just didn't hold. Most of the time when you hear a sight where it has very positive clicks, usually the sight does not drop. It doesn't drop or move around. But in particular for this case, it did. It was still on the target, so I'm not going to beat it up too bad about that. The lens didn't crack, the body didn't morph, and the optic did not fly off of the rifle, so I'm giving it a B+ on that as far as that. But it just didn't hold 0. I mean, what more do you expect? It is a budget red dot.
These are the first sets of shots, the second sets of shots, third sets of shots. So it dropped down and to the right after those 5 drops.
The Firefield Impact XLT is a solid way to get started without spending a lot of big money. If you're more experienced and just want something to use or a backup sight, this one checks a lot of the boxes, at least for me. It has different reticles, QD mounting, and a solid battery life, and it holds up better than I would expect under $100. And I think it's running around like $50 depending on what kind of sales they got, but it would be a decent choice. I particularly put it on the 7.62 just to see how long it will hold up, and I want to say I ran like 500 rounds through it. It only shipped at 0 whenever I dropped it those few times, but it's going back on my daughter's 22, and it's going to live on that platform for them. Now, this is going to wrap it up for this one. But if you have any questions, or you want to see a long-term test, or you want me to compare it to something else like a Holosun or Romeo Dot, I'd be much obliged to. Now, with all that being said, I appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you hit that like, share, subscribe. Come back and enjoy some more videos with me, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Y'all guys have a good day.
I didn't hear it. That's why I'll tell you, aim for the top of it. Come down some more. Skimmed it. There you go. That's it. Slow down. Now pull it again. Wait. Now do it again. Pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. There you go. See, now you're doing it right.